Hello, dear friends. I'm Andy Popescu. Today we are making a vlog with...
Andrew Tate. I'm here to talk about a few things. Yeah.
Okay, he's a world champion
kickboxing.
kickboxing.
Kickboxing world champion, retired now. Businessman, I guess you can call me now. Is that what you can call me? I don't
Entrepreneur.
know. Entrepreneur. Yeah, that's
Sounds
the,
better.
Yeah, that's the official thing people say, isn't it? Entrepreneur. So
The reason I'm making this podcast is that yesterday I've been for a ride. He has a lot of supercars, so we've been doing a ride outside Bucharest. And then when we sit down to chat, he told me a lot of things about Corona. And I wanted him to express his opinions because I think it's free for everybody to have an opinion. It may be wrong, it may be right. If it's right, the truth will stand out. This is why I want him to express his point of view about Corona. And also I have a wager with him, a bet, because he said that I'm gonna get a strike for this video. So if I do get a strike from YouTube on this video, I will owe him 1,000 euros.
YouTube, don't strike him, YouTube. YouTube, don't strike him. I genuinely hope Andy wins this bet and this video is not striked. So YouTube, this is just my opinion. There's no reason you should remove this video. Everything I say is only an opinion, right?
Exactly.
Everything I say is only an opinion.
Yes, and I'm sure that CEO of YouTube, Susan, will see this as an opinion. No matter how crazy it is, it's
Correct.
an opinion.
Correct.
It's not encouraging people not to do something. You just express your opinion.
Good. So COVID's a scam.
Okay.
We can start with that.
I want the truth.
Yeah, so basically, Andy said it perfectly. Yesterday we were sitting there having dinner and we were talking about all the COVID restrictions and how COVID's affecting the world. We had a difference in worldview opinion. And it's not just about COVID, it's about lots of things, right?
But I want the truth.
Yeah.
So I want your opinion because I may be wrong.
Yeah.
Nobody is right all the time.
Completely agree. Completely agree. And my view is that COVID is part of... COVID is being used as propagation for a control system, I believe.
Who? By who?
I don't think it's so much about a cabal of people, evil people. I just think there are institutions in the world which control certain things and they control information, and there are certain things you're not allowed to say and you're not allowed to question.
I don't believe that. So
Yeah, you don't
say
believe
your
that. Exactly,
argument.
yeah. So and COVID is one of them. The fact that anyone who stands up and says anything against the World Health Organization or says that COVID is a lie or is a scam is silenced.
Okay,
I find
but
that very
Trump-
suspicious.
But Trump was against WHO.
Yeah, the World Health Organization lied.
Mm-hmm.
They lied repeatedly. So everything about the World Health Organization is a lie. Everything they say about COVID is a lie. If you're gonna
Not everything. Some. Okay, not everything.
well, so far, let's look at it from the beginning, right? Remember when the World Health Organization first identified COVID, right? So the reason I never believed in COVID from the start, the reason I believed the whole thing was a scam, is if you have a disease with a 99% survival rate, and the 1% of people who get sick get the same symptoms as other diseases, flu or pneumonia, etc., how would the World Health Organization identify such a disease instantly? They wouldn't. So it's been around for a long time. It was around for a long time before any restrictions or any lockdowns. So I thought about this just logically, and I thought, well, the World Health Organization, they would never have identified it instantly. So I didn't trust them from the start. Then at the beginning, you remember all these people were dropping dead in China? You remember these people were dropping dead on the street in China?
December.
Yeah, December.
2019.
Have you seen anyone drop dead?
No.
No one's seen anyone drop dead. So they propagated it in China to try and create fear, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the whole thing's fake. So they have these people dropping dead in the street, and then it spreads out. I don't know if you've seen Wuhan, China recently. There's a video of a pool party in Wuhan, China. I'll send it to you so you can put it in. Well, 2 weeks ago, they had 1 million people in a pool party in Wuhan. So in China, virus is completely over and gone. Like they're completely finished with it, and they're living a completely normal life. And here we are still in the West, scared of this virus, and we have to go home at a certain time each day. And I don't believe that's anything to do with the safety of people. I believe that's to do with the control of people. Because anyone with a logical brain knows sending me home at 10 p.m. has nothing to do with a virus. That has nothing to do with a virus. So the World Health Organization have been caught lying repeatedly. At the beginning, they said masks were useless. You can Google this right now. The World Health Organization at the beginning of the pandemic said we do not recommend people wear masks. They also said we do not recommend lockdowns. They said both of these things on their website.
I remember.
And
I remember. This is true.
This is true.
But they
So they're
said
liars.
they said we don't recommend masks because masks are limited and available only for doctors. I remember this.
There's a lot of studies, and one of them was on the World Health Organization website, saying that masks are ineffective as a whole. And the point is that if you have a mask on, you touch your face, you touch the mask, you move the mask, you breathe in the mask. Then if you're going to get the virus, you can get the virus. The masks are ineffective as a whole. This is the point. So the World Health Organization has reversed its role and reversed its position repeatedly. And what it's done is it's changed its position in line with politics. So I believe the whole corona scam is political. Like everything in the world is political. It's all political and it's about controlling people. So me as an individual, I refuse to wear a mask, and I say to everybody, don't wear your mask.
But this is just your opinion.
This is my opinion.
I don't want strikes.
Yeah,
Okay.
my opinion.
Okay.
YouTube. My opinion is that nobody should wear a mask. My opinion is that everybody should think for themselves, and you should not be controlled by the information centers of the world, which say that you're not allowed to question anything, and you should be allowed to question Corona.
Okay.
You should look.
And my opinion is that I respect the law, but I can say anything about. I can say it's a bad law, but I respect it. Okay, this is my opinion. Go ahead.
It's actually really good that we disagree on this issue because it's going to make the video far more interesting. But law, as a whole, the idea of law is common good, right? If I believe there's common good for a law, then I'll respect it.
Yeah.
But if someone's going to pass a law with absolutely no proof and I don't believe there's any common good, I'm going to think for myself and say, no, I don't want to go home at 10 p.m. You cannot tell me viruses have times. And there's no one alive who's going to believe that. And the World Health Organization's constant flip-flopping and all their lying about Corona, and they've been caught changing their mind about things all time and time again. They don't know anything. The fact is, what we do know about Corona is one of the coronaviruses, along with the common cold and the flu. It's very, very harmless to most people on Earth. They admit this. The survival rate's 99.8%. Right? You're locking people in their houses. You're destroying people's businesses,
Fear.
their life work.
Because of fear.
Yeah, because of fear. And they're propagating fear on a virus with a 99.8% survival rate. And they're doing it by saying it's going to kill your grandma, it's going to kill your grandma. Every time you ever visited your grandma, you had a disease.
Fear.
Yeah, fear. And they're trying to make you scared.
Emotional response. When emotional response, when people, us animals, have an emotional response, our prefrontal cortex, which is the rational mind, is overtaken by emotions.
Absolutely.
Really, this
Absolutely.
is true.
And when you want to control people, the first thing you do is you convince them there's an outside enemy, right?
Yeah.
You look at North Korea. The reason the dictator has so much control is because he says, America's coming to get us. America's coming to get us. If there's no outside enemy, you can't control people.
Yeah.
So the outside enemy is now this virus, right?
Tribalism.
And we have to do anything we're told, no matter how stupid it is. You can sit there and eat your dinner, no problem. Talk with your friends, no problem. I can kiss the girl next to me, no problem. But when I stand up to go piss, I have to put a mask on. And I have to walk in there and I have to take a piss with my mask on. And I have to come back and take my mask off again and sit down. And then I can do whatever I want again. This is about controlling people. There's no doctor alive who believes that's going to benefit or help anybody when it comes to virus. It's about control. And when I see a government using any excuse, including the common cold, for any kind of power grab, me as an individual, I like to resist because I've seen what's happened in history. And a government has never in history taken power and given it back. And every time they've taken power, it's for the same reason. It's under the guise of safety. It's a virus, it's terrorists, it's an enemy, it's this, it's that. There's something coming. Don't worry. Obey me without thinking. Just put the mask on. Listen. Don't worry. 10 p.m., go home. The virus is out at 10 p.m. And these same people who are making these laws are disobeying these laws. I think the Romanian politicians got caught. There's a picture on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
Of them sitting around in close proximity smoking cigars so these people making the laws don't obey them. So the people who make the laws know it's not real.
Yeah.
And they're making laws for peasants. And I don't consider myself a peasant or a slave. I consider myself a free thinker. And when I sit and I look at all the information, I look at the constant flip-flopping of the World Health Organization, I look at the survival rates, I look at Sweden, where deaths are basically zero, I look at the falsified...
Sweden, 3 deaths, Google this, okay? Sweden has 3 deaths per day. Okay, Romania has 100 deaths per day COVID.
Yeah, and Sweden has
Google
no lockdown restrictions.
Never.
None. I've been there 4 times. If you want to have your belief in Corona destroyed, do what I did. When this whole thing started and Sweden said it's not locking down, me as an individual, as soon as I saw my freedom being attacked, I was like, oh, fuck it, I'm out of here. And I went to Stockholm, right? And I have some personal stories, which I'm not going to share on YouTube, but I'm a big freedom advocate because I've been through this shit enough times, right? So I know what happens. So I went to Sweden, and I'm there, and I was there at the height of the lockdown. You know when you couldn't drive here, and you needed papers to drive?
I saw you on Instagram.
Yeah, and I'm in Sweden, and we're partying, and everyone's drinking, and they have a lower death rate than any other country in Europe. So why is this? And
We started. If you Google Sweden coronavirus, you'll see the cases were higher at the beginning and now are lower, and the deaths are now 3 deaths per day.
Yep, super low. And the reason is because the Swedes, and I'm not even a fan of Sweden's politics. I'm just amazing the Swedes of all people got this right. But the Swedes got it right. The Swedes sat there and said, you can't hide from a virus forever. We have hospitals. The virus is going to spread throughout the population. Those who are particularly weak, exceptionally old, people who could die of anything anyway, may get sick. But most people are going to be okay, and it's going to go down to 0. Whereas what we've done is, I mean, in England, I can talk about the English politics, where they said, we're going to lock down for 2 weeks to make sure the hospitals don't get overrun, blah, blah, blah. They've just locked everyone in their houses again. It's been nearly a year.
And France also.
And France also. How long can this possibly go on? The virus is never going to go anywhere. If the virus exists, we know the virus exists. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, YouTube. Don't strike it for that. Corona's real, but it's certainly not dangerous enough to lock people in their houses. And the World Health Organization are liars. And there's no reason why you can restrict people's freedoms en masse, for a virus with a 99.8% survival rate. Telling someone to put a mask on, a lot of people see that as a small thing, right? They're like, oh, put on a mask, no big deal. To me, that's a big thing. You're telling me what I to do with my face. You're sitting there in a government office and you're looking and you're going, fuck him. Yeah, cover up. I'm not a bitch. I don't want to put a mask on. I don't want to put a mask on because I'm not scared of corona. I'm not scared of corona. So why should I be forced by law to cover up and muzzle myself? And I believe this is, I know why they're doing this. They're doing this very, very clearly. If you look, let's look at the Muslim world, right? People have their faces covered. A lot of the women have their faces covered. You know what happens when you cover someone's face?
What?
You dehumanize them. If you have 100 people in a crowd and you see their faces, you can see individuals. When you have 100 people with their faces covered, they're just a number. You dehumanize. It's part of the sheep mentality, herding.
Who's making this? Because I think this is random. Let me tell you why. Because it's hard to orchestrate this on a planetary scale.
Agreed. But there are some organizations that have planetary influence.
Who?
Like the International Monetary Fund. If you're in charge of all the money in the world, you're in charge of exchange rates, you're in charge of all the... This is how war is fought, right? War is fought with currency. You don't need... The idea of two first world nations going to war is outdated. And it'll never happen again because there's no winner. It doesn't matter what happens in the war. There's going to be so much destruction in a global economy that no one's going to win. You understand? So if America wants to go to war with Russia, they just devalue the Russian ruble. We'll just fuck their money up. And then we'll fuck their oil up.
Can they do that?
Of course they can do that. That's what the IMF is all about. So the International Monetary Fund are in charge of it.
Okay, if they can do that, why during the Cold War this did not happen? Because during the Cold War, I believe that they were both, America and USA were, America and Russia were both struggling, were trying to overtake each other.
Yeah.
But why didn't you do this?
Because during the Cold War, Russia had a lot more influence, right? During the Cold War, there's a whole bunch of communist countries.
Right.
Now Russia, people talk about Russia being America's enemy. Russia doesn't stand a chance against America. It's not America's enemy, really. The only competitor to America could be China. And China have benefited massively from this virus, right? Look what they did. They locked down for fucking 3 weeks. They put out a bunch of propaganda of people dying in the streets. They've been wide open ever since. Well, we've been locked down. Yeah, they're wide open in China.
You serious?
You can fly to China right now. Like the the people involved with this, what they've done is a very simple maneuver, right? And everyone knows how this goes. Anyone who's an adult who's watching this knows how it goes. You find an excuse and you do a power grab. This is an excuse for a power grab by governments. They've come along and said, oh, COVID, so we're going to restrict all your freedom. And it's like a negotiation, right? Like if you go to buy a Lamborghini and it's $200,000, really you're happy to pay $190,000, but you go in there and say, I'll give you $150,000. And the idea is that you negotiate hard so that he'll settle on $190,000. So this is what they're going to do. They've come along, they've taken all our freedom away, and then when they give it back, they're going to keep that little bit because of COVID. And then because of terrorism, there'll be some other excuse. And then because of this, there'll be some other excuse. And that's how you end up restricted in a world where you can't say and you can't think.
Right, but I want to know who are those people?
I don't think it's about individual people. I think there's just institutions out there which have decided en masse, the people who are in charge of information, including YouTube, who have decided en masse what people are allowed to criticize and what people are not allowed to criticize. There are certain things you're allowed to discuss and think about, and there are certain things you're not allowed to think about. And when I say Corona is not real, this upsets a lot of people. And I say, why are you so upset? Are you even a doctor? You're not sick. You don't know anyone who's been sick. Oh, my friend's grandma was sick. Grandma's got sick before Corona. What does that mean? That doesn't mean anything. And people won't use their own mind and look around and say...
a good question. Do you think that Corona killed some people? Little people, but...
I believe that the coronavirus, if you are susceptibly weak, is dangerous. But I also believe the common cold, if you're susceptibly weak, is dangerous.
Even
I also believe the flu. I also
right.
believe the flu is dangerous. And I do not believe you can destroy the livelihoods and the futures of unlimited people, unlimited young individuals who, let's say, had a business or whatever, destroy their lives en masse to try and save them. I'm trying to save you. Don't worry about losing your whole company. I'm saving you from a virus that isn't going to hurt them anyway. I don't think that's fair. I don't think a government should be coming along and mandating that by fact. I think people should have their own personal choice. It's up to me if I want to get COVID. Who the fuck are you?
But you know
I'll
what
pay
their
my
argu-
health care.
That's right. But you understand their argument. I'm just trying to understand their argument, even though I don't agree with them. Their argument is, oh, you have to stay in the house so you don't get other people sick, because you may kill us. That's their argument. I don't agree with that, but that's their argument.
Their argument is they want to control everybody. This is all the government's ever wanted. And the people who are in charge of the world, all they've ever wanted from the beginning is control. These people are above money, they're above economies, they're above the dollar, they're above the lei, they're above this shit. They want people to comply. When you're at that level, all you care about is that the idiots at the bottom comply. This is what you need. And you have to put systems in place to ensure people comply. And one of the easiest systems you can do is by manipulating information. If I type COVID into Google, nothing will come up saying it's a scam. Everything will come up saying it's so dangerous, stay home, lockdown, blah, blah, blah. Google have decided to propagate the COVID lie. They have not decided to be fair and impartial and show people the things that make them think opposite. They want people to be afraid.
I want to tell you why I think this is happening. I think not because Google or YouTube are part of the global conspiracy. No, but they do believe it's the better thing to do. I understand? That's why they are doing it.
Cool.
That's my opinion.
Cool.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, great. So, but if Google and YouTube believe X and they manipulate the population of the world in X way, then these are the most powerful institutions on earth.
Okay.
And right now that we say, okay, COVID, it's fine.
But Andrea, let me tell you, I always strive for the truth.
Of course.
They don't manipulate, okay? They have the right, because if you have a platform, if Google was yours, you are free to make your own rules.
Now, this is an interesting argument.
Of course.
But firstly, I disagree with you. They do manipulate. Because if they control the information, people see they manipulate.
What's the difference between manipulating and influencing? There's no difference.
Okay, yeah. They influence, they manipulate, however you want to say it.
Yeah.
But
even now you're manipulating people.
Okay, of course. But if you're a search engine, right?
Yeah.
You're a search engine.
Yeah.
You're supposed to provide results impartially. You're supposed to say, here's information that if you have an agenda, which these companies do, including YouTube, if you have an agenda, that's fine. But you are influencing, you are manipulating, and that becomes dangerous beyond COVID. When you start looking at things like presidential elections and how they're manipulating people to hate President Trump, how they're manipulating people to hate certain political components, this is a dangerous thing. But you have people out there who are in charge of these institutions, like you said, and it's their fair decision to do what they want, but they can control billions of people's minds.
Yes.
So if they sit there and go, this politician will do whatever we want, and this one won't. He's bad, he's good. These people control the world. That's not fair. There should be fair access to information.
No, there should be freedom, and they should be let free to do whatever they want.
Okay, but they have an absolute monopoly. They have an absolute monopoly.
Yeah, so
right?
let us build our own platform. This is how I see it. I may not. I don't have the truth, okay? But this is how I think. I think everybody should be left to do whatever they want, man. You have Google. Is Google yours? You can make your own rules, man.
Yeah.
Not
okay. So let's say I agree.
You
with
wanted freedom.
Okay. Let's say I agree with you. Yeah, absolutely. Then people need to understand that the information they get is manipulated. I understand that.
Yeah,
but most people don't.
That's
so
true.
let's hope YouTube leaves this video up and doesn't strike it. So I'm
know-
telling you guys.
I know he will.
So good.
It will.
So YouTube, if you're watching any video on YouTube, understand that YouTube are deliberately manipulating the search results. What you type into the search bar is deliberately manipulated to try and convince you of a certain thing. When you type COVID into the search results, it's going to tell you how scared to be. It's never going to tell you it's a scam. This is done on purpose. If you want information, you have to find it in other places. And it does exist. It does exist on fringe websites, which are very hard to find and very hard to keep up because they all disappear. There's a website called BitChute, which is the YouTube of freedom, right? You can say anything, racist things, anti-COVID things. It's completely free, unlike YouTube. On election day, it disappeared. It got shut down. Google this. And BitChute themselves couldn't work out why. They got hacked by somebody who was trying to stop them putting up proof that the presidential election was rigged. And somebody, probably Google or YouTube themselves, hacked, or CIA, hacked another website, which is as large as YouTube, and destroyed it in a few minutes. So there is no freedom, because the people who control the information, they don't want other people to tell the truth. So YouTube has such a monopoly. If you try and launch a competitor to YouTube, you don't last. You can't compete with Google. These people control the internet. They control access to and from the internet. They shut you down at will. These people have an absolute monopoly and they're not going to give it up. Why would you give up a monopoly over information? These people are never going to give it up. If this video doesn't last on YouTube, where else are we going to put it? You tell me where else we're going to put it. You're telling me some
my
smart...
website.
Okay, your website, right? I have friends who have their own websites, and guess what happens? They lose their domain. Let's look at Alex
I don't
Jones.
believe that, man.
Look at Alex Jones. Look at Alex Jones. If you're watching this and you don't know who Alex Jones is a hero, and he will always tell you the truth. Go and look up Alex Jones. And don't listen to what Google and YouTube say, right? You have to go and dig deep about Alex Jones. Alex Jones is a guy who told the truth all the time. He's a good guy. He's a hero of the American people who never lied. YouTube deleted all this stuff overnight for no reason. Why? Because he kept calling out YouTube on their blatant lies. And they lie and they control the information. If you can control information, you can control people's minds. It's amazing to me now. We'll go on to the election in a minute, because that's what they really want to do when you control people's minds, right? When you control people's minds, you want to control who they elect, because then you control the world. Now you control the world, right? But with this whole COVID thing, the news you see on the TV is, of course, fake. All the news is orchestrated. And I can give you a million examples of that.
Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our
Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities,
Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But we are concerned about troubling, irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
But there's all this COVID thing. The idea is that when I walk into the gas station, some lady, this has happened to me, some lady's going to say, "Your mask," and start to panic. And I'm like,
But
you're an
that's the
idiot.
law. That's the law.
But the law is stupid. Why should we blindly obey laws that we know
Because the woman risks getting fired if she doesn't tell you that.
That's right. Comply.
What would you do if you were her?
I would, if I was her, I'd do exactly what I'm doing now. Because it doesn't matter what job I have or how much money I have. As an individual, I think for myself. And I don't care if anyone comes along to me and tells me you must mandate X, and I don't believe in it. I would not do it. I am not a slave individual, right? If someone comes along and says you must tell people to wear a mask, you know what I'd do if someone walked in without a mask? Pretend I didn't see him. Because if everyone was like me, if everybody was like me, refused to wear a mask and refused to tell people to wear masks, this whole thing would end. They can't keep the scam up because they can't enforce it. There's not enough police to enforce the scam. More people have died as a result of corona lockdowns than coronavirus itself.
Possibly, yeah.
Not possible. Well, you can say possibly, yeah. Okay, maybe possibly. Maybe possibly. YouTube, it's just my opinion. More people have died from canceled appointments. In England, there's endless cases of people who were canceled for cancer appointments, heart operations. These are real things. COVID is too cold, right? But this is people, you have women who are stuck in maternity wards by themselves without their partners for days on end. Like, this whole thing is insane, and more people are dying from the lockdown than lives you're saving. How can you as a government, in Australia, I'll send you the link, in Australia, 5 toddlers have died who needed heart operations in a specific hospital, but you're not allowed to transfer patients in between states because of corona restrictions. So kids are dying. How as a grown-up, an adult, can you sit there and see people dying because of all the lockdown, and then sit there and say, oh, but for your safety, doesn't matter. They can die, but for your safety, we're going to keep you in because we care about people's lives. If you cared about people's lives, you'd build the health infrastructure, right? All the money the economy is losing could build enough hospitals to deal with any patient who's sick, right? Think how much the world has lost. Take this money, build a few extra hospitals, and let people live their lives. But they don't care about our safety. They don't care about people's livelihoods. They want to control us. That's all they want to do. This is another excuse to exert control. That's all a government has ever wanted, is to exert control. There's no division in the world besides the people with power and the people without power. You and I, right? People think we're rich. He has very beautiful cars. I have very beautiful cars. We're free enough to go where we want, But we don't have any power. Anytime the government can come and arrest us, police can arrest us, they can take your passport. We have no power.
Yes.
The people with power, all they want to do is make sure the people down here never start to think for themselves. This is how it's been since the dawn of time. Since World War II, since before that, it's always been the same. Corona is another excuse to control people. There's a million ways they could help the population and deal with this corona problem. Not that it's even a problem to begin with, without destroying livelihoods of individuals and exerting control. It's done absolutely on purpose because this is a government's answer to everything. Just give up your freedom, give up more freedom, and we'll fix it. Just give up a little bit more and we'll fix it. And what's crazy is, and when you talk about Google and YouTube and how they should be able to put up what they want, they're brainwashing people to the point where you now have people begging to have their freedom taken away. You have people, everyone should wear a mask, everyone should stay home. You have people in Romania, in every country, who are begging the government to take freedom from them. Please, please take all my freedom and take everyone else's for all our safety. It's only 99.8% survival rate. Please take everything from me. Destroy the businesses, please. And this is down to YouTube and Google, which are propagating fear. When you have the ability to influence billions of people, you have a responsibility, and your responsibility as a platform is to give a non-biased view, or to give information so people can make their own decisions. If you give all information in favor of one direction, you are influencing the world, and you are responsible for what you're doing, and it's done on purpose. The people who are in charge of all the media platforms have sat there and decided, we want people afraid of Corona. That's what they've decided.
Okay, I want to say once again, from my heart, I believe that YouTube and Google are not part of any conspiracy, and they are just doing this because they think it's good.
Okay.
I already said that.
Okay.
Okay. And I mean it.
Okay.
And one more thing I want to say why I don't believe there is a global elite that is controlling the world. Look at you and me. Okay. We made a few millions,
Yep.
okay, dollars, but the thing is that more money doesn't bring us more happiness.
Agreed.
And I don't think that other people would feel more happiness if they are exerting power. That's just mean, okay? Look at me. I'm doing good. I want other people to be good for them. I want to help other people. That's what makes me happy. And I'm speaking from my heart. I don't think that there are a lot of people that have a lot of money and they want to be more happy. They want to control the world and abuse the population and make this corona fake.
Okay, so two
This
things.
is what I think.
Two things. Firstly, I agree with you. I agree with you that YouTube and Google think they're doing a good thing, right? I don't think it's being done out of malice. I don't think that YouTube's sitting there going, you know what? Let's destroy the world.
Yeah.
But they're still doing it. Now, you can do terrible things in the name of good. How many terrible things have been done in the world in the name of good? In the name of humanity?
Christianity.
In the name any religion. In the name of good, we're going to scare everyone. In the name of good, we'll take all their freedom. In the name of good,
burn the witches.
yeah, in the name of good.
Yeah.
So YouTube and Google think they're doing a good thing, but what they're doing is not good, because you need to give people the sovereign right to look at information to make their own decisions. And these people do not want people to have information to make their own decisions. They want them to think what they tell them to think. And it doesn't matter how good you think you're being, when you tell people they must think a certain way, this always ends badly.
But YouTube is not telling people to think a certain way.
It's only giving them...
It's just taking down the videos that are not complying with the rules, which is normal. Of course, you say they shouldn't have this ability because they influence thousands of people. And I think my argument is that they should make their own rules.
Yes.
It's normal. If you have your platform, you make your own rules.
Completely.
I don't think Google or YouTube we should tell them how to make the ruls. No,
I agree.
It's their
I agree.
fucking platform.
If they leave this video up, I'll shut up.
Yeah.
Cool. If you leave this video up where I've pointed out the World Health Organization are liars, pointing out that people need to watch Alex Jones and understand the truth about what's going on in the world, pointing out that this is all about control, pointing out the survival rate, pointing out this is all lies and there's nothing to be afraid of, if you leave this video up, I'll shut up. But I have a feeling YouTube won't. It's just my opinion.
And
don't delete the video.
Okay, and I will take in 1 month, if this video will last 1 month on YouTube, I will personally take your 1,000 euros and donate it to charity.
Perfect.
And I'll make a video.
Don't delete the video, YouTube. I'm begging you not to delete it. All I'm telling
Take his money.
All I'm telling people to do is to think for themselves and to use their eyes.
He's
and
expressing an opinion. Very
and,
good.
and if you
Sure.
ask people around who are wearing a mask, are you afraid of the virus? They all say no. I'm not afraid of the virus, but the government told me to. And this is how the worst things in the world happen. I was in Germany, right? I'm in Germany. I'm in a coffee shop. I have no mask on because I since all of this has started, I've never put a mask on my face.
Really?
Once for a Wizz Air flight.
They would have kicked him out.
Which really, they were going to kick me off the plane. It really annoyed me, and I started flying private ever since. So,
Private plane.
private planes, because this is what I mean. On a private plane, there's no mask. Pilot has no mask. I have no mask. The private airport, no mask. When you're rich, Corona ain't real. Corona's for poor people. So when you're on Wizz Air, there's Corona. So the whole thing's a scam. But I haven't put a mask on my face. So I'm in Germany, and I walk into a coffee shop, and the guy goes, "You need a mask." I said, "No, I don't. Cappuccino." He goes, "Oh, but you need a mask." I was like, "Are you afraid of Corona, bro?" And he goes, "No, but it's the rules." And I said, "Don't you Germans, of all people, understand the cost of following a government blindly without thinking for yourselves?"
Hitler.
Don't you Germans, of all people, remember what happens when you just comply without thinking? You just told me there's no virus. I've told you there's no virus. And you're still telling me in an empty shop, you and me here, to put a mask on because you're such a fucking idiot that you are complying on that level of slavery. You're such a slave that you're afraid that I don't listen. You're listening, bro. You got your mask on. Don't worry about me. Just give me my fucking coffee. What's wrong with you? Because, well, in the end, he gave me my coffee because I convinced him very quickly. But if everyone
Very persuasive.
yeah, and if everyone was like me, the scam would end. But why was he so compliant? Because of the media companies that control the information. And I know you're saying they should be allowed to do that. That's fine. But then you have to understand. Let's say I agree with you, right? I agree with you. The YouTube and Google can put up whatever they want and delete whatever they want.
Yes.
Because their community guidelines are so vague, they can delete any video for any reason.
It's their rules.
It's their rules. That's right. But then look at the power. Then you have to sit there and go, okay, that's fine. But then you have to at least admit the power they have.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so we admit that the people who are in charge of YouTube and in charge of Twitter and in charge of Google are some of the most powerful individuals in the world.
Because they influence.
Because they influence. And we agree they can influence elections around the world, right?
Sure.
Okay, so we agree that these media companies can influence who's in charge of the world. They can influence how people think. They can influence billions of people. And they can stop anyone with an opposing opinion saying anything about it. So these people effectively control the world. Agreed?
They influence the world. Okay, they have a high degree of influence in the world. But Larry and Sergey, who started Google, I don't think they have anything mean in them. I think they are good people. Bill Gates, I think he's a good person. I think he anticipated Corona. I really think this. I may be wrong, but I think he anticipated Corona because having those billions, he could focus on saving the world. I know people think that Bill Gates got Corona started. I know all those crazy theories. I do believe they are crazy theories. I might be wrong. Maybe they are right. Okay, we cannot know. But I want to see both sides of the story. I want to use critical thinking on everything that's going on with life.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you think about Bill Gates?
I want to get this clear. I don't think these people are particularly malicious. Because let's move on. So let's talk quickly about when we say Google and YouTube have all this influence, right? They believe Donald Trump is a bad man. So when they're trying to make people hate Donald Trump, which is what they do, there's no doubt about it. Every single YouTube, Google, Twitter, they try their best to make everyone in the world hate Donald Trump. Now, they don't believe they're doing a bad thing, right? Because they think Donald Trump is bad. So they think they're doing a good thing. But they're also denying people the information they need to make their own decisions. So they're in charge. And I don't trust someone else's opinion of the world more than I trust my opinion of the world. Let me live my life. Let me have the information. And let me make decisions based on my personal experience. You think Donald Trump is bad. I think Donald Trump is good. So who are you to control everything I see and try and convince me otherwise? Because that's what they're doing. So we can talk about the election in a second because the election was rigged. The election was fake. And we're going to get into that in a second.
And that's his opinion, okay? Once again,
my
disclaimer.
opinion is that they stole the election and they used Corona to steal the election. We're going to talk about that in a second. But going back to Bill Gates, I don't think Bill Gates is a particularly malicious man. But if you look at the things the Gates Foundation does and some of the things they're interested in, I know he would benefit hugely. And not even about money. These people are above money.
Yeah.
They would benefit hugely in terms of power, in terms of influence from a global vaccine, let's say, for example. And they're talking about this vaccine, how it will be required to travel. They're basically saying to people, now, you're going to need an injection. You don't know what's in it, but you're going to need to take an injection for a virus with a 99.8% survival rate, and you're going to let me inject this in you, or you're not going to leave your country. And people aren't scared by this. No one's sitting there going, wait. I'm fine. So why the fuck are you going to inject me with what? I'm fine. I was fine before this. I was fine last year and I'm fine right now and I've never put a mask on. Why do I have to let you inject me with something? Why should I?
Okay,
why should
argument? Their argument?
Their argument is if you don't do it, you're a bad person. The grandmas are going to die. Be afraid of Corona. You must take the vaccine. Everyone's talking about a vaccine now. We don't need a vaccine. There's 99.8% survival rate. Do you know the death rate of the flu vaccine is higher than the death rate of Corona?
I don't know. I have to
look it up. You take a flu vaccine, you have a higher chance of developing a complication and dying than you do of dying of Corona. And that's the vaccine. The flu vaccine's been around for how long? And people still get the flu. Okay. The whole thing is bullshit. So what this Corona thing's being done is, and this is why my personal opinion, just my opinion, YouTube, don't delete the video. I want to give Andy some money, so don't delete the video.
And I want to give the money to charity.
Yes, and we want to give the money to charity. And I'm sorry for educating people and making them think with their own minds. I apologize. But the reason this whole thing was done is so that with Corona, they have more control. So how do they first exert it? They first exerted their control given to them by Corona on the U.S. election. Nobody it's amazing to me that nobody is intimidated by, because I find this terrifying, right?
What?
That the biggest, most powerful nation in the world, the global reserve currency, the US dollar, the most nuclear weapons in the world, the biggest military, the biggest, most powerful country in the world, the most fair, democratic country in the world, the first world nation, just had its election rigged in front of our eyes.
Okay, that's what your opinion. Why do you say they are rigged?
The
I want to be convinced. I don't think they are rigged. I want you to tell me your arguments.
I'll tell you why the election was
Yes,
rigged.
please.
All right. So no one likes Donald Trump, right? So Hillary Clinton was supposed to win. Hillary Clinton didn't win. And everyone was shocked. You can watch, in fact, I'll send this to you. I'll send you links. The Indian guy, I can't remember his name, leader of he's the head of Google, and a bunch of other people, Jack Dorsey, who's head of Twitter, all these social media companies, the ones we're talking about, their leaders are on camera saying, we can't believe we let this happen. We think this is our fault because we let Donald Trump share his information on social media. We have a bigger responsibility to people to prevent this kind of news getting out there. And start talking about censoring after Trump wins the first election. They start talking about how it's our fault that we let this evil man into power because we let people think for themselves and it was supposed to be Hillary. Even though Hillary's caused more wars and killed more people than anyone ever. She destroyed Libya.
I like Trump, but
So
I don't see how he changed the world into the good. I like Trump, man.
Yeah. It doesn't matter if I like Trump. I don't think you should rig elections. Fuck Trump. You shouldn't rig elections. You should let people decide who leads
How
them.
do you know they are rigged?
Okay, so we're going to get there. So the social media companies already admitted they had influence, right? So Hillary was supposed to win. Hillary didn't win. So then the Democratic Party, and the Democratic Party are closely linked with all the people who run the world. We'll talk about Epstein's Island and fucking all the kids and all that in a second. That's all Democrats, right? So the Democratic Party are linked to the people who rule the world. So they watched Hillary Clinton, a lifelong politician, and the woman, the first woman candidate and the wife of Bill Clinton, they watched her lose to Trump. So then they get Joe Biden, who's senile, who's suffering from Parkinson's, who can't talk.
Time friend, and she's a friend. She's been my friend in and out of public life. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing. Tomorrow's superstar.
And they run him against Trump. And they know he's going to get landslided, right? He doesn't stand a chance against Trump. Trump's smooth, right? Yeah. So the Democratic Party, who just had a literal meltdown, YouTube, Google, the most powerful people in the world had a meltdown, genuinely crying, tears, worrying that Trump's now president and our life is over.
Donald J. Trump is now president of the United States. President Obama is the ex-president. And Mr. Trump, for the moment, steps to listen for the inaugural address.
What a great honor to be able to introduce for the first time ever anywhere the 45th President of the United States of America, Donald.
Then they get a senile old man to run him against Trump. And it didn't cross their mind for half a second to rig it. They didn't think, he's going to lose this. He needs a bit of an advantage. Of course they did. So how did they do it? Here's how they rigged the election. They used Corona as an excuse, saying that you can't vote in person. You can if you want to take the huge risk. But if you want to vote by mail, you can vote by mail. Don't worry. We're going to send mail ballots out and everyone can vote by mail. Then, as the election results are being counted, and let me just stipulate this, never in the history of an election in America has the results taken more than 24 hours to count. Never in history. Here we are 7 days later, they're not finished. So that's the first fucking thing that doesn't make sense.
Right.
In fact, here's why. Because Trump is winning in a landslide, of course. Joe Biden, he can't put a sentence together. The dude has been vice president for 47 years and did nothing for anybody. Who the fuck likes Joe Biden? Nobody, right? So Trump's winning a landslide. They stop counting overnight for random reasons. I was watching the election in real time. Me and Tristan argued about this. Tristan goes, Trump's going to kill it. I said, no, they're going to rig it. And even my brother goes, you can't rig the U.S. election. I said, watch this. We're watching it. For the first time in history, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in history, never done before, they stop counting. A water pipe has burst in Georgia. A court ruling in Nevada says that because of the way the polls were done, we need 24 hours for a bunch of garbage legislation.
Right.
I'm telling you why. Burst pipes, bullshit. And then overnight, they open up all the mail-in ballots, and Joe Biden's ahead now. What's funny is they opened up the mail-in ballots, and in some states it's like 300,000 he was losing by, and they're all 100% for Joe Biden. 300,000 votes, not one for Trump, not one for the independent candidates, every single one for Joe Biden.
But we need to check the source.
Okay, I'll show you the graph.
Yes.
I've shown you a graph which shows, because they're stupid enough that the graph actually shows the votes, right? And you can see that at 4 a.m. on a random Wednesday, Biden goes zoop, straight up. This is fucking rigging. This is election rigging. If you had to flip a coin and get heads 300,000 times in a row, what's the odds of that happening? Considering that every other state, it was 58%, 56%, 57%. 100% of every single mail-in vote was for Joe Biden. This is obviously rigged. You can see it on the graph. This is a rigging. And then, we're just getting started, my friend. So then Trump goes, this is rigging.
This is the state of Wisconsin, right?
Correct. Trump's winning, and bang, this happens at 4 a.m. overnight. Boom, straight up. How is that not a rig? Then, when Trump sees this, you know what he does? He sends Republican. He says,
Michigan, the same thing.
Same thing.
How is this possible? I don't know. I'm not saying he's right, okay? I just want to know how this is possible.
It's possible because the Democrats are rigging the election using mail-in voting, and they're using mail-in voting because they're scaring people with corona. It's all about control. When you control people, you can rig things. The communist dictator Stalin said, it doesn't matter who votes. It matters who counts the votes.
Yeah.
And he's completely right. You control everyone and you count the votes and, I won, doo-doo-doo. So they rigged this whole thing, right? So when Trump saw this, he sent Republican inspectors to the polling stations. And they were locked out, which is against federal law.
Really?
It's against federal law. You can look this up. He sent the thing and they were locked out and the Democrats counting, because this happened in Democratic states, right? They covered the windows with paper. This is all on video.
What I noticed when I was brought in to be a poll watcher, I was never brought in, actually. I never got past the first identification stage. They kept saying that mine, as well as 5 or 6 other Republicans, their names hadn't been entered into the system. And after the first time it happened, the second time it happened, I had no second thoughts about it being a problem, more that somebody failed to finger us into the computer system. But after a while, what I witnessed, and I said to Mr. Giuliani before, in a morbid curiosity staring at, I felt insidious fraud going on. I felt that we were kept away from doing our civil duty. That was everybody on both parties should be upset about. This is horrible. We're being restricted. We're being restrained. And I see this nothing as the insidious nature of the Philadelphia and Pennsylvania governments who are keeping us away from doing what we were meant to do.
And Trump's like, well, we're going to have to take you to court and recount. This is all bullshit. 15,000 dead people voted in this election. This is common knowledge. I will send you the link now. What people have been doing is going on death registers, getting people's social security numbers, and then putting it into the mail-in ballot system to see if your vote was counted. 15,000 dead people have voted for Joe Biden in this election. Dead people. People who were born in 1890. It's all a rig. The whole thing is fixed to make sure Joe Biden wins via mail-in ballots. And mail-in ballots comes from coronavirus. It's all fake. You can see here. So now Trump's going to go to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has all the evidence they need of election rigging. And then Trump's going to still be president. And there's going to be a civil war. It's going to go off because all the Trump haters think they've won now.
I hope you're wrong, man. I hope you're wrong.
All the Trump haters think they've won now. Also, I'll give you the most solid proof that cannot be denied.
Yes, please.
Have you heard of Benford's Law?
Benford's Law. No.
Benford's Law. So Google Benford's Law. If you're watching this, Google Benford's Law. Benford's Law is a law based around the standard deviation of numbers. And it's used to catch people who commit tax fraud. And what it's saying is if you, let's say, it doesn't matter what numbers there are, lengths of bananas, tax, votes, it doesn't matter. As long as numbers are involved, Benford's Law applies. And the law is very simple. The standard deviation of numbers is different. A 1 appears more often than a 9. And the reason is you can't get to 9 without going via 1. Do you understand what I mean, right?
Yes, of course.
So it's like, what door in your house do you use most often? Well, probably the front door, because you can't use any other door without using the front door, right? So this is Benford's Law. So if you have any kind of fair count or any kind of fair numbers, Benford's Law applies perfectly. If you just invent numbers, if I just say type in your tax returns, and you just make up numbers from your head, Benford's Law won't apply.
Right.
Because they haven't been counted, right? Joe Biden's electoral votes, and I've showed you the graph, do not comply with Benford's Law.
Really?
If I've shown you the graph, just on your phone. They don't comply with Benford's Law. Do you know there are how many people who are in jail right now for tax fraud based purely on Benford's Law? purely on tax returns, put it in the system, Benford's Law, bang, court, bang, Benford's Law, you lied about something, jail. If they don't give Trump the presidency, they're going to have to let out every single tax fraud because they're going to have to overturn it. Benford's Law is a law of nature. So the whole election is rigged. So the whole election's rigged. And they want it rigged because they want Joe Biden there because he'll sign anything put in front of him because he's corrupt as fuck and he's senile. Sign this. Lock people up. 7 p.m. be home. Put your mask on. Mask mandate. Close the businesses. Lock this. Okay, safety, everyone. Safety. For your safety, you're going to starve to death. You're not allowed money anymore. Nah. It's bullshit. It's control. They rigged the election against Donald Trump because Donald Trump is a man you can buy. And this is the exact point. This is what Alex Jones said. I've shown you the graph where it doesn't comply with Benford's Law. I've shown you the graph where it shows the mail-in votes coming in out of nowhere. I can show you the register of all the dead people who voted. This is a rigged election. And if these people have enough power to rig the election of the most powerful country on earth, isn't that a little bit scary? These people don't give a fuck about you. They don't care that the American people wanted Trump. They don't care the American people valued Trump. You're not smart enough to have an opinion. We're in charge, and we don't like Trump because he doesn't listen to us. So fuck you, we're going to rig it. These people are dangerous, and it's the people who run these social media companies. Sorry, YouTube, just my opinion. That's who it is.
Okay, so what countries did not comply with these regulations?
Good question.
Sweden
and Belarus.
What happened to Lukashenko?
Yes, so Lukashenko, right? So Lukashenko, you can look up the history of USSR, blah, blah, blah. When the USSR broke up, Lukashenko was one of the first leaders of Belarus, and he's been in power ever since.
And he's, okay, who is Lukashenko exactly?
Lukashenko is the president of Belarus, right? And he's been the president ever since the USSR broke up. He's been president since day one, and he's staying president. Dictator, I guess you would call it. And the standard rule of dictatorship is follows, right? America has no problem with dictators if you do as they say. But if you don't do as they say, they start talking about, we need freedom for the people, freedom, you can't be a dictator. And they blow your country up, and they kill everybody. Oops, accidentally killed women and children. Oops, we blew up a school bus in Yemen. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Kill everyone, destroy the whole place, and then they get some other dictator who listens to them, and they put him in charge. That's all they do. And they go, freedom, yeah, and everyone dies. But the basic premise is, you must do as America says, right? So Lukashenko, who's a dictator, had no problems with anybody, really. I mean, Putin was an ally, he had no problems with anybody. The IMF offered Lukashenko 2 billion euros to lock his people in their houses and tell them the coronavirus.
Is this public information?
Public information. Lukashenko said it himself on a news interview. He goes, I don't believe in coronavirus. He goes, I believe if there is a virus, you need to look after yourselves, have a shot of vodka, sleep in bed, and you'll be okay. That's what he said. Gangsta. Yeah, that's what I would say. You know, we've got hospitals. You get sick, you get sick. What the fuck you want me to do? Right?
Здесь нет вирусов никаких. Вот ты же не заметила, что они летают? И я тоже не вижу. Это холодильник. Спорт, особенно лед, холодильник этот. Антивирусное лекарство, самое настоящее.
So Lukashenko said all this in the news. He refused to lock his people in houses, refused to do a mask mandate, refused all of this. He then came out and said, the IMF has offered me 2 billion coronavirus relief if I imply these rules, because that's how they say it. They don't say you have to lock people in the house. They say, we'll give you relief for corona, but in return, you have to show you're making steps to combat the virus. Like Romania's sold out, right? 85 billion from the EU. They take all the money, and the EU goes, so what are you doing about corona? At 10 p.m., people will go home. It's bullshit. So they offered the same thing to Lukashenko, and he refused it. As soon as he refused it, riots have started in his country. Anti-Lukashenko riots for the first time in history. First time, this never happened before, right? All these idiots, all these liberals, and all the people who are his political enemies are being funded by the West to repel against Lukashenko to try and get him out. They did the same thing in Iraq, same thing in Syria, same thing everywhere. They get people, grassroots people. Why send your army when you get people there who don't like him, give them a bunch of money, give them a bunch of guns, and start a problem, right? So now you got all these people protesting against Lukashenko, and these people are funded by Western governments trying to get Lukashenko out to put a new person in, and the new person will comply and listen and lock the people in their houses and do as they're told under the name of Corona because the IMF said so. This is how it works. This is how it's worked in every single country. They're trying to get Lukashenko out. And Lukashenko's going on the news and said this. He said, look, all these people who are protesting are being financed by foreign entities. And it's been proven endlessly that every single organized large protest has involvement from a foreign entity. Do you think that when the Syrian rebels stood up to fight in Syria against the Syrian army, you think a bunch of rebels, random people, can fight an army for years, an organized army for years without outside support, without training, without weapons? Where are they getting all this stuff from? Well, I'll tell you, the rebels were financed by the West, and the Syrian army was supported by Putin. And this was a civil war with proxies. Every single war in the world is done by proxies. This is what happened because the West didn't like Assad. And they wanted him out. So they said, okay, well, here's a bunch of AK-47s to all the people who don't like him. Here's a bunch of money. We'll pay you $1,000 a week if you fight. Cause trouble. That's what the West has always done. They're trying to do it now in Belarus. Why? Because he will not comply with corona. So when you sit there and say, it's just a disease, just a mask, if you don't agree with the corona lie, they will destroy a country to make you agree. Is that about safety of people? They're talking about mass riots on the street. You're talking about changing the dictatorship of a country. You think this is about safety of people? This is about control. You will be controlled. You will listen to us about corona, or we will remove you from power and find someone corrupt enough to listen. This is not about a virus. This is about world control.
I hope you're wrong, man. I hope you're wrong, because you're saying this. It looks like I don't know. It looks like the world. It looks so sad.
And YouTube, please do not remove this video. Everything I'm saying is just my opinion. In fact, everything I'm saying isn't even true.
No,
don't look it up. It's a lie. Don't remove the video. Because if you remove the video, Andy's going to have to sit there and accept that you people who are in charge of all this shit don't want people knowing the truth.
I hope you're not right, but I believe that you have the right to express your opinion.
It's my opinion, exactly.
Right?
Exactly. This is only my opinion. So this is what's happening. So the people who are in charge of the world want to use corona to control who's what. And they've just rigged the American presidential election. And I actually, personally, I believe this. So everyone knew, from the American election perspective, everyone knew Trump was going to go to the Supreme Court. And most people understand Trump will win the Supreme Court because they've got all the proof, right?
You think Trump
I think we'll win. I hope he wins. If they manage to somehow rig the Supreme Court, then that's really scary. But he's going to win, right? And I think the Democrats knew this. But they also knew, along with their media partners, because the news in America could say, this is a contested race. We don't know who's president yet. There's a lot of mail-in ballots which are being contested. Too many dead people have voted. We'll find out in January. No, what the news saying? Biden's president, Biden's president, Biden's president. Trump can't take it. Biden's president. So when Trump wins fair and square in January, because they rigged it, people are going to lose their minds. It's going to be riots like you've never seen. This is the verge of civil war in America. And who's funding all this stuff? Well, the people who are behind Black Lives Matter, they're a Marxist organization. People think Black Lives Matter is about a black guy who got killed by the cops. The black guy was a drug addict anyway, and he was resisting arrest. So that's the first thing. He was high on fentanyl. Okay, yeah, the guy leant on him, and he shouldn't lean on him. But when you're high on fentanyl, you can die from fucking anything, because you're high on a drug, right?
But the cop did a very terrible thing.
Yeah, the Trump did a bad job. American cops are out of control. I'm not even saying that American cops are all good, because they're not. There are dickhead American cops.
Too much force.
Too much force, agreed. But then, they're met with force all the time, so that's how you become up. That's how you become.
Everybody's got a gun in America.
Yeah, that's right, so it's hard. But Black Lives Matter has nothing to do with Black Lives. Black Lives Matter is a Marxist organization trying to promote left-wing ideals. On the Black Lives Matter website, it says we're a Marxist organization that do not believe in capitalism. We do not believe in the nuclear family unit. We are pro-LGBTQ. These are supposed to be about black lives, and all they talk about is destroying capitalism and destroying the family and bringing in communism. They say this on their own website. Black Lives Matter is funded by China and foreign entities and George Soros. All of this stuff is. How do you think these mass riots and protests happen night after night after night? And I'll tell you how, because there are videos, and I'll send you the links, you can put in here. There are videos of people being caught. There's a guy who had a camera, and he turned up to a protest site, and guess what was waiting for them? Waiting for them at the protest site were pre-made signs and bricks. Someone had made signs and bricks and put them at the protest site and organized a protest, waiting for these people to go there and get weapons and bricks to throw at the police and have signs.
I saw that.
This is organized. This is not a big accident. Oh, we care about black lives, so we're going to walk around. No, this is organized by foreign entities and people who don't like Trump, like the Democrats, to let's cause civil war, anything it takes to get Trump out of power because he will not comply. And this is what it is. And the crazy thing is this. The same people who want to lock you in your house and put a mask on and tell you it's not safe to go vote, the Democrats, because of coronavirus, are the same people who were promoting and supporting the Black Lives Matter riots. You don't get any closer proximity than a riot. They never said anything bad about a riot. YouTube, you have no reason to take this down. Everything I've said is just an opinion. Do not take this down. I want Andy to win. Please, if you take this down, you are proving me right that all you do is control information and do not let people think for themselves.
Did you put any video that was taken down? Did you put on your channel?
All I did was say that you shouldn't wear a mask because you have no reason to wear a mask and they're trying to control you. And I took it down. Let me show you why the news is fake, my friend. So, the people who were propagating Corona to get Trump out, right? The same people who were supporting the Black Lives Matter protests, every logical person was sitting there going, well, I can't go to my grandmother's funeral. I can't go to the birth of my baby. I can't go and see more than 3 friends in a house. But these people are protesting en masse, and the police are not stopping them. How the fuck does that work? Because if you're going to talk about close contact social distancing, a riot where you're running, sweating, breathing heavy, that's pretty much as good as it's going to get, right? So then they put in the news, Black Lives Matter protests haven't led to COVID-19 spikes. And they've somehow come out in the news and rationalized how the Black Lives Matter protests have not contributed to COVID-19, despite all the social closeness. Then Trump goes, oh, I didn't know we could have all these people together. I'll hold a rally. So Trump holds a big rally. And then they say, Trump campaign rally led to more than 30,000 coronavirus cases. The same news is going to tell you that a Trump rally will make corona, but a Black Lives Matter rally won't.
Send me the link so we can...
Explain this to me. Explain. The same news source are going to say that depending what your politics are, you're going to spread corona. But if you're on our side, you don't spread corona.
Send me the link so people can see it.
And then people are going to sit there and go, but it's a disease. It's not political. It's absolute politics. It's a lie. And they use it against the people they don't like. It's a lie. How the fuck does that make sense? I'm asking, how does that make any sense?
Because some sites are influencing on purpose.
Yeah,
so they are doing
exactly. So we agree. So we agree that the news, YouTube, Google, all these people are deliberately influencing people and deliberately scaring people for no reason away from certain political views, so that they do what they want, so that they control the world. So we agree.
Yeah, the problem is when you are making fake news like this, like Black Lives Matters did not lead to spikes, but Trump rally did lead to spikes. Which is fake.
It's fake news. So and then here's another thing. What comes with fake news, right? Who decides what news is fake? So these guys have lied, right? But they're CNBC, so no one's going to call them fake news. But if I come out and say that the Biden votes were rigged, even though I have proof, I'm fake news. He's fake news. If you control what news is real and what news is fake, then you control the world. Again, it doesn't matter who votes, it matters who counts the votes. So this is what the social media companies have done. To try and combat the spread of fake news, if you say anything which is fake, we're going to remove it from our platforms. But it's not about fake news. It's about saying things you don't like, because you're in charge of it all. Nothing I've said here is my opinion, but everything I've said here I can cite. I can give sources and I can give proof for every single thing I've said. YouTube, don't take this video down. Instead, email Andy and say, can you provide substantiation for the claim made at this second? I'll provide you proof for everything. Anyone who watches this who wants proof of anything, you can message me. I'll provide you proof for every single fucking thing I've said. Everything.
Put them in the description.
Everything. I've said it all. Everything I've said about the World Health Organization lying, the flip-flopping, everything, we'll put it all in the description. I'll provide proof. But they don't like it. It's not about being true and false. They just don't like it. And how they're going to sit there until the American public, and not just NBC, CNN, every single one, even Fox, which used to be right-leaning, has sold out, every single one of them has saying that Black Lives Matter protests are okay and don't cause corona, but at Trump rallies will cause corona, and you can't be in a house of more than 4 people, and you can't go to a funeral, but you can go to a rally and you can burn things down, because when you get there, we've provided weapons and signs that are anti-Trump for you to attack establishments, because that's what we want, because we want to sow anarchy. That's what we want to do. We want to sow anarchy until we get our way. Let me tell you something. Under Joe Biden, police officers will kill black men just the same, because it happens. And there will not be a single fucking riot, because it's not propagating their agenda. Biden, their guy, has won now. So they don't want riots with Black Lives Matter. So they're going to crush that shit instantly. If a police officer kills a black man, there will be no riots. If Trump is president, a police officer kills a black man, it's all Trump's fault. It's the fucking same event, and they're pinning it on the person they don't like and ignoring it for the person they do like. Every single news outlet does this. It's not just corona. It's not just politics. There's a whole bunch of agendas and things you cannot discuss. Immigration's another one. I'm an immigrant in Romania, right? And I'm mixed race. I'm half black, half white. But I also do know that certain ethnicities commit crime more than other ethnicities. If you say that, you're going to get banned. If the video gets taken down right now, it's because of what I've just said. But it's true.
Why?
But it's a statistical fact.
What did you say?
I said that there's a statistical fact that certain ethnicities commit crime at a higher rate than other ethnicities. Statistical fact.
Okay, but I don't think this is a reason to take this video down.
Me neither. They should not take this video down. But the truth is that in certain countries, they don't have an infrastructure which promotes law and order, and if you allow these people into your country under the name of immigration, you're going to have a higher rate of crime. The European Union has decided to flood its countries with people from third world nations, and they will not allow you to think otherwise. And you're not allowed to say otherwise. This is what we've decided. And if you want to have a logical discussion about why that's not a good idea, we will delete your video on YouTube, we'll delete your post on Facebook, we'll delete your tweets, and if you continue to talk about it, we'll delete your entire account. And if you talk about it too much, we'll delete your bank account. And now you have no money, and you have no influence, and you can't talk to anybody, and you're a nobody. We will de-person you. This is the weapon that they use. If you talk against the agenda, they'll de-person you. And the agenda has certain subjects, and one of the subjects is immigration, because they have a intricate plan of what they're doing with immigration. The other subject is this fixed election, and the last subject is corona. If you talk about these things in a negative light, they will de-platform you because they don't want people to hear things that make them think.
Immigration, corona, and presidency.
Yeah, absolutely. This is absolutely the truth.
I hope you're wrong.
My friend.
And I hope this video will last 1 month.
So do I. Because if this video lasts a month, the amount of people I will educate about certain subjects who will go and do their own research is worth €1,000 to me. And I'll be very, very impressed. And by that, the fact it's on a Romanian channel, maybe that'll help us as well. But I'm telling you people, there's people in charge of the world, and they do not want you to think for yourself. They want you to think exactly what they tell you to think. The election was clearly rigged. The election was rigged using corona as an excuse. Let me tell you one more thing. Listen, if Biden wins, all this corona shit's gonna fucking vanish.
Really?
Yeah, as soon as Biden wins, they're gonna let everyone go back to Raw. Biden's in charge now. What do we need to control people so much for? Okay, a few restrictions and bang. If Trump wins, they're gonna come at it fucking hard. Do you know that England's initial strategy for corona was the same as Sweden? England said herd immunity. You hear about that?
Yeah.
Do you know why they changed their mind?
Because the immunity doesn't last a long time.
No.
Only a few months.
That's not why they changed their mind. They changed their mind because they went on the news with some doctor. His doctor, his name was, I'll give you the name, because I'm citing sources here, people, because I don't want anyone to call me a liar. So I'm going to give you the name of him. But a doctor went on the news in England, had a projection, right, from a computer, saying that everyone's going to fucking die. Now, a projection is stupid, because a projection depends what numbers you put in. I put numbers in, I got numbers out, right? So he goes there with a projection saying everyone's going to die. We have to lock everyone in their houses. After Boris Johnson pussied out and locked everyone in their houses, this same doctor got caught traveling across the country, having an affair with another woman and breaking quarantine rules.
We need his name.
I'll tell you his name. The exact same doctor. So this is the man who locked you in your house, and he's going to get his dick sucked at the other side of the country. And you're going to stay in your house and say, but the virus. Are you stupid? This has nothing to do with a virus. He just locked you in your house. One rule for thee, but not for me. That's what all of this is about. It's a rules for you, but it's not rules for us. The doctor's name, Dr. Lockdown UK. Okay. The doctor, and this was documented. They even put this in the news, which really surprised me. Here we go. Professor Neil Ferguson quits government after undermining the lockdown rule. He's quit as an advisor on the coronavirus, admitting an error of judgment when he was coming in another woman, not his wife, across the country. Here it is. And I'll show it to you. Even the BBC News couldn't hide this one. And they usually hide everything. Because the BBC News is complete propaganda.
Okay, I believe that people that have a weak immune system or have a bad health should really take care of corona. You know, they should really wear masks if they want to.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But, you know, this is my opinion, that corona can kill people, and everybody that has a health problem, if you are obese, if you have diabetes, if you have problems, you should take care of yourself, but not obligate everybody to comply with the I don't know.
Then I agree with you completely. I agree that everybody is responsible for their own personal safety in most regards. I believe you're a sovereign individual. I believe if you're worried about corona, you need to make sure you look after your health, be in good shape, don't be fat, do exercise, eat good, eat right, wear a mask if that's what you decide to do. I do not believe in the government coming along and locking us all in our house. In a mass prison exercise on the name of a virus that has a 99.8% survival rate, which has been proven to be used politically in Belarus, in America, in England. They've proven they're using the virus as an excuse to affect political outcomes. I don't think that's good enough reason for me to muzzle myself. Because when you tell me, a full-grown man, to put a mask on my face, that's a big deal to me. I'm a full-grown man, right? I'm a full-grown man. I've worked very hard to become the man I am. And also, I've never taken shit from anyone in my life. I'm a nice guy, but if you want to give me shit, I'll fucking die right there on the spot. I don't give a fuck. And you're going to come along and tell me I must, like a bitch, cover myself up because you told me I must, while you refuse to do it, while you, the leader, doesn't do it and travels across the country to have sex, and I'm going to stay in my house with a mask on? No, thank you. I'm not an idiot, and I'm not a bitch. And that's what they want. They want everyone to be a bitch, and they want you to comply. They just want compliance. This is a mask compliance exercise because right now it's only about a mask.
Based on fear.
Based on fear. But in the future, it will be about something else. Right now, it's a mask, right? But in the future, it will be something else. Mask compliance is why the Nazis got all those Jews killed. Just kill them. Why? Because I said so. You just have to kill them. Okay. Mask compliance is how the worst things in the world happen. The worst things in the world happen when people comply without thinking. This is why every single genocide has been the same. Mask compliance. I'm not going to mask comply with a law that you don't obey yourself, which I know I'm not susceptible to this virus and I don't see anything around me that makes me think I should wear one. I don't want to comply. And everyone should have that decision and everyone should think for themselves and look around them. When this whole scam started, because I've been calling it a scam since day one. When this whole scam started, I thought, I had faith in humanity, right? I thought 1 month people will see it's bullshit. 8 months, 9 months later, people are still walking around with their masks on. And I'm like, have you not seen? And then when I talk to them, they're like, oh no, I know somebody who got sick. Oh, you know somebody who got sick? You know a 91-year-old who got sick? That never happened ever before April. Oh, that's proof. Put your mask back on, bro. That's your evidence. Oh, okay. I don't see anyone dropping dead in the street like in China. I don't see any of the things the World Health Organization said was going to happen. There have not been millions and millions of mass deaths. And there's not the hospitals are not full and overrun and beds all over outside of them. I don't see any of the things they said were going to happen. All I see is a government saying, go home at a certain time, don't drive your car, destroy yourself economically, and sit there and do as you're told. That's all I see. Let's imagine we had a real virus that's really dangerous. Would they ever introduce a curfew? I mean, like the idea that you can go out and do whatever you want until a certain time. If there was a virus that could kill everybody, would that ever even be implemented? It doesn't even make sense. It's not even a measure against a disease.
Their argument is that people travel at night and make parties. That's what the Prime Minister said, really. That's their argument. Let's see. What is it more important? To force people to stay in the house and wear masks and comply all those laws, keep the restaurants closed, or advocate for healthy eating, healthy lifestyle.
True.
You know, go exercise.
True.
This is how you boost your immune system.
True.
Okay, I think that anyone that wants to wear masks should be able to wear masks, but not make it mandatory. But I do comply with the law. I like to respect the law. I don't agree with the law, but I respect it. This is my point of view. Your point of view is that no, you don't want to respect the law, and that's your problem. You are an adult, so you do whatever you want. I express your opinion.
Completely agree. And YouTube, this is only my opinion. Please do not take this video down. But what happens is, what I see, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, but this is the same thing, right? Stay in your house. Don't leave your house because a few people may die. Stay in your house, don't drive your car because a few people will crash. Stay in your house, don't have sex, a few people will get AIDS. Stay in your house, don't do that. The same logic can be applied to too many things that I love, right? Correct. And every single time people find themselves in a bad situation, if you talk to any people who've lived under serious dictatorships, they always say, it was little by little.
Little by little.
It's little by little. They don't do it all at once. It's little by little. You're not going to muzzle me. You're not going to tell me to put something on my face. You're not going to tell me where I can go at what time, right? If you want your taxes, I'll fucking pay it. So I can do what I want. I want freedom. And what's happening, and I'll sum up on this, and I'll repeat one more time. The World Health Organization, all of their claims were fake. The coronavirus exists, but it's not dangerous, and all the lockdowns are done under the name of political control. Black Lives Matter is a Marxist organization which is funded by the left. Everyone who's watching this needs to watch Alex Jones. He's a hero, and he'll teach you about the reality of the world. Presidential election was rigged. Absolutely rigged, and once Trump wins in the Supreme Court, there's going to be civil war, and this was the intention of these people. You as an individual have a responsibility to your future generations of children who you don't want walking around in masks, who you don't want locked in houses, who you don't want told what to think and what to be afraid of. You have a responsibility to not be selfish and stand up against a clear regime for control. This is a clear control regime. And every single country that ends up under absolute dictatorship had a generation that should have stood up and didn't. And then you end up in places like North Korea. And I'm not saying the world's going to become like North Korea, but I'll tell you what is going to happen. The world is changing. If you're watching this, the world is changing. The world up until this point was based on freedom. How they advertised you to be a good slave was they would give you some freedom. And when I say slave, I use that word particularly because a slave used to work his ass off and he would get food and a house in return. And 99% of people out here, my friend, are working their asses off. They can buy food and a house. That's it. Most people are still slaves. So most people who are slaves, they would tell you you're going to be a slave, but you'll be free at least. You know, you can do what you want. You can think what you want. You can say what you want. You can walk around outside, look at the trees. You're a slave, but you're free. Freedom, freedom, freedom. And what happened when they did this, something changed. The internet came. People start to talk. People start to think. People start to realize how money's made. People start to realize it's all a scam. People start to realize that countries are in massive debt because people are in massive debt and there's no way to escape. Cryptocurrency was invented. Now you have Bitcoin, which is surpassing the global reserve currency. We don't need banks anymore. We don't need the IMF anymore. People are starting to talk. People have elected Trump, a man who's not bought and controlled by the establishment. People are starting to actually get their minds right. So the people in charge are like, oh, fuck. We're losing control. We no longer control the money. We no longer control who's in charge of each country. Oh, fuck, we've got to put an end to this. We can no longer base our societies on freedom. We must base our societies on safety. You can't think for yourself. We can't put these videos on YouTube because it's fake news and it's dangerous.
No,
you can't go, it's my opinion. You can't go outside because the virus and it's dangerous. You can't travel in between countries without that injection because it's dangerous. This is no longer about freedom, my friends. This is about your safety. They're going to take all your freedom away, and instead they're going to give you a nice big helping of safety. And you're going to take it and go, oh, at least I'm safe. You were safer before. You were safer before, because now the government can arrest you for saying something they don't like. Because now you're spreading fake news. You were safer when you could have an opinion. Under communism, and here in Romania, you weren't safe if you talked bad about Ceausescu. You were safer when that ended. You were safer before all this shit. They're going to take all your freedom away and give you safety, and you're going to be less safe than you've ever been. And you're still going to be a slave. This is what's happening. All the slave people of the world don't realize their freedom is being ripped from them, and they're going to replace it with a big, fake, false dose of bullshit safety. And the only way you're going to stay safe is if you become more of a slave and comply. That's what's happening to the world. After 9/11, in the name of safety, America passed the Patriot Act. And the Patriot Act was any phone call, any WhatsApp conversation, any email, everything is watched forever. Right?
I don't think WhatsApp is watched because it's phone-to-phone encryption.
Yeah, phone-to-phone encryption. However, I have friends who deal drugs who are in jail because of WhatsApp. So,
because they got their phone and read their conversation, not because they read their conversations.
This is 2001 anyway, right? Mm-hmm. So they're going to watch everyone for everywhere. So until then, they needed a warrant to tap your phone or a warrant to spy on you, right? So they're going to watch everyone everywhere. And at the time, my father was still alive, and my father worked for the CIA. So remember, I know a lot about this stuff. And I was telling my dad about something I saw on the news, how they can bug rooms remotely with laser. So what they can do is from across the street, they can point a laser at this window. And when I talk,
really?
When I talk, the vibration of the window, it can measure the distance of the laser so accurately.
James Bond.
That it can replicate what I'm saying. So they can bug a room with a laser, right? By pointing at glass.
Amazing.
And I said to my dad, and my dad said, we had that in the 80s.
Really?
Yeah, and I found out this in 2001. My dad said, yeah, we had that when I worked for the CIA. So we're way behind what these guys have, right? They have satellites that can fucking listen to us if they want to, right? So they're bugging everything. For a few weeks in the name of safety. Here we are 20 years later, and they're still doing it. Government takes power, never gives it back. That's not a problem, right? You think, well, I don't do anything wrong. So let them spy. They want to read me fucking talking to some bitch. Who cares, right? No, but that's what you think. That's what I used to think. Yeah, that's what I think.
And?
Until...
The other part of the
No, but this is what happens. Until you start wrong think. So what happens is, you're right. They're watching everything, but I don't do anything wrong. Mm-hmm. But the legal system in nearly every country, especially Western countries, is so broad and so vague that they decide what's wrong at a whim. So things I've said to now in this interview, they can decide, he's spreading false information about COVID. He said something.
He's expressing
I'm expressing my opinion. Okay, yeah. He has an opinion which is deemed as racist, so that's hate speech. He has an opinion which can be dangerous and harmful, and we're watching him say these things on WhatsApp. Excuse me, sir, come with us, we want to talk to you. And what? No, you're laughing. But this happens. This happened to Alex Jones. This happened to Tommy Robinson. Google this. I'm telling you names of people who were having private conversations who were arrested. They were arrested for their opinion.
Who?
Tommy Robinson. Type his name into Google. And everyone says, he's racist. It's his opinion. You can't arrest him for his opinion. They arrested him for his opinion and they put him in jail. They put these people in jail for their opinions.
What about freedom of speech?
There is no freedom of speech anymore. Not even in America. This is my exact point. There's no freedom of speech. Because if they say in America, well, freedom of speech is protected by the First Amendment, but if I say something they don't like, they're going to delete all my social media profiles, I'll lose my job and I'll lose my bank. What freedom do I have to talk?
Okay, let's think for a second, Andrew. What about freedom of speech? There are certain areas where I don't believe freedom of speech is okay. Let me tell you what areas. The areas are when you are saying, 5G is causing corona, let's burn the towers. That's not okay because people are burning 5G towers.
Agreed.
Okay, now somebody should draw the line. Okay,
Yes.
it's not a fixed line. Of course, everybody sees the line differently, but this is why Brian Rose from London Real
Yep.
was banned
Yep.
because people tend to be very tribal.
Yeah.
Either with us or against us.
Yeah, yeah.
And the truth is in the middle.
True.
Okay?
This is
This
true.
is how I think, because I strive for the truth.
Yes.
Not by one part of the
I agree. I completely agree. But the problem is when you make laws that ban speech,
Yeah.
they
can
always.
be used. They be used.
But the thing is, they're always vague
Yeah, yeah.
because it's impossible to make them any other way, right?
Yeah.
So let's look at the hate speech laws. The hate speech laws in the UK say that if I say anything that incites dislike or hatred of a particular group of people, then this is hate speech. It's against the law. This actually sounds like a very good law. I can't walk around saying I hate Muslims, and I don't hate Muslims. Muslims are my friends. So I can't walk around and say this, which is good, right? But if I say women can't drive as well as men, and then I piss the government off in some way, and they want to get me on a hate speech law, they can look and say, he said women, that's sexual, that's misogynist, we can apply that to the hate speech law. And I will go to court for saying women can't drive as well as men, even though it's a statistical fact anyway. And this stuff happens. And my point is, after the Patriot Act, when they spy on everything, and they have these huge laws, these law books, which are so large and so vague, you could never understand American law in a million years. Lawyers don't understand American law. The reason the court cases take so long is the lawyer goes, fuck, I need to learn new law. The whole thing's a mess.
That's right, correct.
So if they're watching everything everyone says and they don't like a particular individual for whatever reason, perhaps saying something bad about Corona, for example.
Then fuck him.
And they want to fuck you, they can fuck you. So the idea that, I'm not doing anything wrong anyway, is a bad idea because if you ever piss off someone powerful enough, they'll fuck you anyway. They could go through my phone and your phone right now with a fine-tooth comb, and they could put you in jail, and they could put me in jail right now. And we've done nothing wrong. But they'll find some law, some statute, fuck him, put him away. And they've done this with Tommy Robinson. With Alex Jones, another guy, they did it the civil way, right? So they destroyed him under the American law with civil cases. So they tried to put him in jail, but because he's rich, he had lots of money, and he protected himself with lawyers. So now they're doing it the civil way. They sue him for $5 million. Once a day he gets a lawsuit. Once a day. He's fighting endless lawsuits. He can't survive. He's going to go bankrupt. And they use the law against you. What does he do wrong? He wakes up, he makes a podcast, he drives home. He doesn't do anything
Tommy
wrong.
Robbins?
Alex Jones. He doesn't do anything wrong. But they will find something in the law to stick it to you because they're watching everything you do and everything you say. And if you say anything bad about Corona, they're going to come for you. They might. I really genuinely believe, I'm telling you, if I lived in England, I would not have made this video.
Really?
100% no way. We're in Romania, and the Romanian government is not nearly as organized. But if I was in England, I would not have made this video. This video is not... YouTube, please do not delete this video. Please.
So Alex Jones had trouble with the law?
Endless.
With the law?
Endless.
For?
Opinions.
Really?
Opinions.
I believe that Alex Jones is very tribal and very like conspiracy. It cannot be right, all conspiracies.
Of course.
Maybe some are true.
And yeah, some are true and not all are true, but he should be allowed to express his opinion. Who are you to come along and say he's not allowed opinions on certain things? Who cares if he's right or wrong? If he's not right, why do they have to delete everything he says?
Correct.
If he's wrong, let him say it. Hey, guys, YouTube, I admit openly now, everything I've just said is a lie and I'm wrong. Don't delete the video. Don't delete the video. I'm a liar. So leave it.
Should be able to express your opinions.
I'm wrong.
As long as you don't. Let me tell you. What's the difference?
Okay.
You can say, I don't believe that people should wear masks. You are expressing an opinion, but you cannot say, let's not wear masks.
Yeah.
That's wrong.
That's inspiring. Okay.
That's the difference.
Cool. Okay. Cool.
You never said, let's not wear masks.
No, I didn't. No.
You said, I don't think people should wear masks, and you are expressing an opinion because let me tell you why this should be like this, because the truth always stands out. In the 1920s, when people were smoking cigarettes and everybody was praising smoking cigarettes, somebody said smoking causes cancer, and everybody said, oh no, this guy is crazy. But the truth stands out.
Yeah.
This is why freedom of speech is important.
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody should state their opinions and let the people decide.
Completely agree. And I think people like Alex Jones and Tommy, they've been deleted for their opinions. They're not allowed opinions. I've just stated my opinions in this video, my opinions about COVID, my opinions about the political election. Mm-hmm. We're going to see in the future that COVID was a big scam. Hey, my friend, I can't wait till we meet in 3 years from now and I'll say, remember COVID? Who's dead? Nobody. Oh, yeah, remember that COVID bullshit? Oh, we're allowed out our houses finally. Oh, thank God. What little bit of freedom did they take? Oh, yeah, but to travel, you need to do this test. They'll find something, they'll keep it, right? Because they'll never give all the power back. But I'll always say, remember COVID? You know, it's because it's bullshit, right? The whole thing was a fucking lie. So we'll come back and we'll talk about it. And me and you are going to be friends for a very long time. And we'll still be driving our fast cars and enjoying our life. But I really do genuinely understand what's happening here, and I see what's happening around the world. And everything I've said, I can cite sources for. So anyone who wants YouTube, if you want any proof, I'll give it to you. Because everything I've said, I believe as my opinion to be true.
I would also be mad if I would lose like you a few million euros
Yep.
due to Corona,
Yep.
because Andrew lost a few million euros because his
Correct.
businesses
Correct.
were very severely affected, and
Correct.
I'm very sorry for this,
Correct.
Andrew. And I would be very pissed.
Yeah.
Okay, but as I said, always strive for the truth.
Correct. I agree with what Andy's saying, and a lot of the things I'm saying to you, I knew before Corona. I knew about the Democrats and what they're doing. I knew about the wars in Libya and the overthrow. A lot of this is before Corona. And I'm actually fortunate because I've lost a lot of money, but I have money, right? So I'm still driving my Lamborghini. So who feels sorry for me? Nobody. But there's people out there like a family business, a man and a wife who've worked their whole lives, 25 years to barely get by, and they've lost their business. And that's what's really sad. What's really sad is they've destroyed people out there who really can't afford to be destroyed.
Yeah.
And they're going to do that in the guise of safety. And really, these people are less safe than they've ever been. And that's a shame.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I don't expect anyone to feel sorry for me. I got 11 supercars. So, I'll survive, But these other people, I feel genuinely sorry for them when a government man is going to come around and shut their ass down, and they're going to struggle to eat for the rest of their life, and people are going to talk to me about safety. I don't buy that.
What I'm very interested is in your opinions, the guys that watch us. I promise I will read every single comment because I really want to know your opinion, because when I read hundreds of comments, I get a sense of how people think.
Yeah.
This is why I really encourage you to like or dislike this video and leave a comment, okay? Send this video to a friend. Say, hey, what do you think about these guys? Are they nuts? What do you think about his arguments? And always judge people's arguments, okay? This is very important. I want to read your comments about this video.
Absolutely, yeah, and it's been a fun time, and everybody, whatever you do, whatever decision you make, it's completely up to you, but stay safe and look after yourself and the ones you love however you see fit. Do whatever you think is best for you and for your family, because that's what all this is about. We live once, and everything I've said is just my opinion, everybody, so it's just my opinion, and there's no reason why to delete a video just off one man's opinions, right?
No.
I'm not a doctor, I'm a kickboxer, and I get punched for money, so what do I know, right? I'm stupid, so
right. And
it's
we
my
want to take
opinion.
we want to take his money and donate
Give it
it
to
to charity,
charity.
and I will make a video. I
Correct.
will make a video of it, how I'll take his money and donate it to charity.
Correct.
And you can support this video by making a thumbs up and sharing this video with a friend.
Correct.
Think about all the little kids.
Yeah,
that will be
exactly.
helped with
We're
his
going to
money.
help them. So, yeah, just my opinion one more time. And yeah, it's been fun. It's been awesome.
Yeah. Okay. And next video with him is gonna be with his Ferrari 812 Superfast, 800 horsepower on the back wheels.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Okay. It was really nice. Looking forward for your opinion. Bye.